Hello, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here. I hope you've been having a good day. I've just popped on like a minute early because good old Facebook in its wisdom has been playing with settings again, and I've had to rejig everything, and I wanted to make sure that this was actually the right way round, and it is, hooray, which is good. So I'll just give it a minute or two. I also apologise for it being a bit skew-if. I have one of these little things that I put on top of my phone to make sure everything's level, but the problem is it never quite makes sure that it's straight that way either. But yeah. Without further ado then, welcome to the first Virtual Card A Cuppa for October. We took a break in September. I'm still in the States and heading back to the UK tonight, which is why I'm coming to you in the evening rather than early afternoonish. But everything will be back to normal as of well, tomorrow afternoon when I land, I guess. So everything will be back to normal times starting on Friday, because I think tomorrow I'm just not going to be with it, but there you go. Anyway, so there was a card and a cuppa this morning. Carol, bless her, went over to Home Grange and held it for me. So the cards that everybody got to make some were made by her, some were made by me, but the basic kit was one that I designed before I left, and I wanted to make sure that we had enough of everything before I went away. So this is the kit that everybody had or should have had this morning. It's pretty simple, but it's amazing just how much you can do with it. So there's a envelope as always, so that's just going to go to one side. So I'm not throwing it away, I'm just pushing it to one side. There is a Night of Navy card base. Now I cut it at 10.5 and the whole length of a sheet of A4. So the other half would have been here, and then I scored it in half at 14.9. And you'll see from the designs there are some landscape and there are some portrait ones. Obviously, if you're doing a portrait card, then you will have the fold at the top, and I appreciate not everybody likes that. But I originally intended this to be a landscape card, hence I have my fold on the side because it's far more stable. Right, the other thing in the kit was a piece of Balmy Blue, which has been cut 1/2 centimetre smaller so that it gives you a nice panel on the front. So that's 10 by 14.4. Oh dear, pardon me, I have a bit of a frog in the throat. It's a panel of basic white, which is actually to go on the inside of the card so that you can stamp and you can write your message on there. And then there is this really, really nice piece of basic white. Now this has been cut so that it's another 1/2 centimetre smaller than the Balmy Blue panel, so that you end up with a nice border going around. So I always cut my cards and go down in size by increments of 1/2 centimetre. Those who work in inches, you probably go down by either 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, depending on how much of a border you want to have. And then once we'd cut all the cardstock, they were die cut. So this rather lovely die, it comes in a set of dies. There are two of them, and they're called the split card texture dies. And I did bring the other one. So there is this one, which is a bit more sort of florally, and then there's this one which is more sort of a graphic, and it's up to you how much of the bits that you want to poke out. So they come, so this is the die that I used for, that was used for this one, and oops, this is the die that was used for that one. Now, just so you know, I have seen cards where they have used both, not the different ones, but the same again. So you can actually fit that onto a panel that's been cut 1/2 centimetre smaller than your base card. So you would have one here, and then you'd run it through, and then you would run it through again with that one, and that will then leave you a piece in the middle that hasn't been die cut. On this size cardstock, or it might just work. Oh, maybe that's what I'll do for this one. We'll see. Anyway, so that's a thought. That's a thought. But anyway, I digress. So this is the piece that everybody had, one of these, and as I said, you just need to, some people will have had to poked out some of these pieces, and they come out really easily, as you can see, which is quite nice. A lot of the times on this one you don't actually need to get your pokey tool, or your take your pick tool with the pointy end to take things out, which I like. But this is a very easy and simple way of adding some interest to your card without going completely over the top. So those are those bits, and I don't need them, so I'm just going to push them to one side, and I'll put them in the bin in a moment before they disappear on the floor and then the cat walks over them. But there you go. So there's that piece. And then the other thing that everybody had was some punched stars. Now, we used the silver foil, and it comes in a pack of 3 sheets, 12 by 12 sheets, and there are actually 3 different colours of silver in there. We only used 2 for this. Oops. And some of them are very small, so to actually punch, we used the Starlit Punch, and it does actually punch out all 6 stars at a time. So you have a one of these. Let's see if I can find them all in that particular colour. That one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that one, and then I don't know. Maybe this one is the other one. I can see one that's still in there. Oops. Hang on a second. If I can get it to turn over. Yeah, so there you go. So you get, all 6 get punched out at the same time. So it's a quick way of adding some more interest to your card. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and then my little one is in here. So so something has happened, and I don't know what. Oh, there. Okay, I thought for a minute I'd lost everybody, but I haven't. My laptop decided, instead of showing me today's, it was going to show me something from a week ago. But hey, I think they're still there. It says I'm still live and that there are 3 people watching. Hopefully, if anybody can give me a thumbs up, that would be brilliant. And so I do know that you are alive and watching. That'll be much appreciated. Hopefully I can see the comments this time, and I will verbally reply. Obviously, if you do write comments, then I will, of course, reply to them in the comments as well. But anyway, so those are the contents of the kit for this week. Let's just put all these, because I really don't want to lose them, onto there. Not sure how many I'm going to use yet, so I'm push this to one side. Right, actually I might just stick it with the envelope and put it away. Okay, so I'm guessing you're going to want to see what we made. So this was the first card. So this was what I had intended initially. So I have everything landscape and put the die cut piece landscape too. Now I like these because you've got lots of white space that you can stamp on, so you can keep it simple by simply adding a sentiment, or you can emboss the whole thing, or you can basically, it's the world's your oyster when it comes to these. You can decorate them as simply like this, or as fancy as you like. So this was simple. I only used 3 of the stars. So these are the 2 darker grey. I don't know if you can see, but it has like lines on it. This is a brushed effect on this lighter silver. This darker silver has more of lines. It probably doesn't show up very well in the camera. I'm sort of trying to move it around so you can see, but hey, maybe it'll show up on the photos when I put them up. And then I used some more of the stars just to decorate the inside. So you can see I've used 6 there, and then there were a couple left which you can put on the envelope just to decorate that too. So that was my starting point with the first one. The second one, similar, except we turned it portrait. So as I said, you have the fold at the top. This kind of looks more like a Christmas tree. That's what I call half a Christmas tree, I should say, which has given me another idea, but I'm not quite sure how we would achieve that look. But I might play with it and see what happens. And then this time, instead of using Night of Navy ink, we used Balmy Blue. And again, actually, I think there's quite a few stars on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gotta have an odd number. So there's 7 stars on there, with the big one at the top. And there's a mixture again of different ones of the silver foil. And these, as you can see, these are how tiny the little stars are. So they can easily get lost, which is why we put everything into little cello bags, just to make sure that everybody had the right number and weren't trying to find something in the bottom of the envelope. And then we just put a couple on the stars on the inside. Third card, went back to landscape, and we decided, okay, well, we're going to chop off some of the white and then just layer that onto the Balmy Blue, and then just stamp directly onto the Balmy Blue. So that's the third look. Stars on the inside. So that's the third one. So I think you can agree that they do look different. And then the question is, what am I going to do for the fourth one? And I don't know. I thought I had an idea, and I think, you know what, I'm just going to stick to it, because then I'm not going to get myself confused, which is easily done at the moment. So I'm going back to my die cut piece of white, my piece of white that would go on the inside, but I'm not going to do that. Now, envelope I don't quite need at the moment. And then I should have said that the other thing that Cara would have taken with her today is the Brightest Glow stamp set. So this is the stamp set that we've used. So so say to you and yours this Christmas, all is merry and bright, and then obviously a big Merry Christmas. And I like this stamp set because of the fact that it's got different fonts, and it's even got a Happy New Year on it as well. So actually these would work for a Happy New Year card as well, which is a nice idea. But I'm going to stick to Christmas because at the moment I think everybody's going nuts and starting to make their Christmas cards. So that was why we took Christmas things today. Right, so I'm going to do something, well, I was going to say it's a little different, but it's not, in that I'm going to cut this piece off, but then I'm going to use that piece. So if I get my trimmer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up, or try to line up, this piece and this piece so that it's on this line, like so. I just need to make sure, no, I do need it to be on there, and the problem is getting it so that you can actually see it. So there, I think that's about right. So it's the outer piece there. Sort out one bit and then you move the other bit. Right, it's going to be close. So I'm just going to take that piece off. So that leaves me with a nice border on here. Like that, and I have this piece, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on this and then I'm going to die cut it out. Now I need to be careful because I don't have a large area here, so as much as I would like to stamp Merry Christmas or Season's Greetings, I need to keep something that's small and something that will fit within a die. Now I'm going to use my stylish shape dies, which are my kind of go-to because I like the stitching effect that's on it, on these. So you've got circles, you've got squares, and you've also got banners. Don't really want banners. I think I'm going to stick to either a square or to a circle. So, and I don't want a huge one. I want to make sure that this fits onto that space. But what I will do is I will stamp and then I will die cut. So where's my stamp set? And I think I'm not too sure which one to use. I think I might go to, we've done 'Tis the Season? No. So I think I'm going to use 'Tis the Season because I know it will fit in this circle nicely, and I know it will fit in the square that way, and it will also fit in the square that way. I just need to be, if I'm going to cut it that way, I just need to be careful where I would actually place it on here. I guess if I just stick it in the middle there. Right, okay. 'Tis the Season is. Dun, dun, dun. This is what happens when you also don't, that must be it. It doesn't look like it. Well, you know what? The trick is to look here. Oh, I've already got it out. It's already done. So maybe if I turn it over, there you go. Let's just move that out of the way. So I'm going to put this on a block. trying to make sure that it's vaguely lined up. I put the block at the bottom of the grid paper on a line, and then I can see through and make sure that that is straight, and it's not quite. There we go, that will be fine. Okay, and I'm going to use Light of Navy ink. Going to be brave. It's the darker of the ones that have been used, so this is what I'm going to use. So lightly tapping, and then I'm going to put that in on here. Now it's a red rubber, so it's a cling stamp, so I don't need to worry about having a piece of foam or anything underneath, because the stamp itself already has that on it. And then the question is, do I want to use a circle or do I want to use a square? I actually quite like that effect. Turn the square so that it looks more like a diamond rather than a square around the sentiment, and that will fit in with the stars and things as well. So I'm just going to use my mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine. I'm gonna have to find an abbreviation or something for these because it's kind of a mouthful, but hey. Let's see, and I might just find a piece of washi tape to hold in place, just to make sure, because I don't really want things to go skew with. So let's just get a little piece of washi tape. If I can find the end of it, there it is. So make sure that that is where I want it to be. I think that's about it. There we go. Now when I put the sandwich through the machine, I don't actually have my plates all in line. I find it much easier for the machine to grab everything if they're not quite in alignment. Obviously you still want them parallel, but that went in pretty easy. So that's that. Put that out the way. Right, that's the piece that I want. Let's take the washi tape off the die. Don't need that bit at the moment. So who watched the World Card Making Day event over on the Stampin' Up website? It's still there, so if anybody wants to play catch up, you can still find it. I did put a link on the Facebook page, and I did have one on my blog, and it's still on my blog. In fact, if you go on my blog and click on the picture of the World Card Making Day picture, that will take you to it. It's there till the 18th if you want to view it. So, right. Okay, so I'm going to make mine making sure it's the right way up, a landscape card. Now that's what it looks like with the white on the white. Let's see what it will look like on the blue. So that was World Card Making Day, and then this week, oh my goodness, there's been so much going on, it's unbelievable. So Stampin' Up are now active in both Ireland and Belgium, which means if you live there, you can now purchase Stampin' Up products. If you are in Ireland, then you can actually purchase them through my online website if you would like. And similarly, you could also join the Acorns. So that's one thing that's happening. And there's also a great starter kit plus, it's called. So there's extra goodies that you can choose. It's normally £130 worth for £99, but during this offer, which is running till the end of October, you can actually choose 154, or I have to remember what it is in euros. Oh, I'm gonna have to do better at this, remembering what the euros are. I think it's 275, but don't quote me on that. Now I'm going to get my Winker Stella out, and I think I'm just going to put some extra sparkle on it in the vague attempt of just sort of getting some on this side. Now I could mask it, which probably would be a good idea, and I think, you know what, I'm going to use the envelope, just because if we have a bit of sparkle on the envelope, it'll be fine. I'm just trying to make use of stuff that is around. So clear Winker Stella, I don't know if any of you have done this before. You can do this technique with Stampin' Right markers too, and with the brushes, but I like the Winker Stella because you can just get some little bit of extra sparkle. So just make sure that you have some of the Winker Stella here in this well, and then you can either use the lid or a bone folder or a pair of scissors or whatever, and you are just going to tap the Winker Stella onto the bone folder, and as you can see, there's little splashes of it appearing onto the cardstock. So I just got it on there. Yeah, there it is on the envelope, but that's okay. I quite like that. It just means you've kind of decorated it. And I managed to get a couple of bits on here as well. So it means that when you put this on, there will be some sort of shiny bits showing through. Now, this can be glued on, or you can use glue dots, which will raise it up slightly, or Stampin' Dimensionals. I think I'm just going to use glue dots, simply because I want it raised a little bit, but I also don't want to go so mad that I have a problem with the post. So I've just got some contraband glue dots here because I can't find my Stampin' Up ones. So I like this particular die because you can actually put all your glue dots on those little pieces that haven't been cut out, and you don't need hundreds of them. Just space them out so that it will hold in most places. I mean, you don't need to do every single one of those. I know there are people who will, but I like to be frugal, but at the same time make sure that it is secure. So I'm just going to put one on each of the corners. And then one on there. Actually, yeah, we'll put one there just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And maybe one on this long strip there. So this should have dried by now. So I'm going to put it here. I've just noticed that there are a few little bits that have not come out, but that's okay. So that the dimensionals do give it a little bit of extra, but not too much that it's going to be all over the place. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals though. So grab those. In fact, I've actually coming to the end, and very much a case of waste not, want not. So I just take my paper snips to the edges. Who else uses their edges? They come in very handy. Sometimes I just chop them up just as extra normal dimensions. Other times I will actually trim like these pieces here, so that I have a strip, albeit a thin strip, but that's okay, because sometimes you just want a thin strip. Like for example, if I wanted to put a strip of dimensionals on here, I would have cut this off and they would fit quite nicely onto there. These are just little bits, so you really don't want to use all your pieces of dimensionals. I even use the backing because I tend to use that and put that inside my envelopes when I'm using Stampin' blends. Now we could put it in the corner, but I think it would look a bit odd. I think if it had been square, it would have got away with it, but I kind of went a bit mad and decided to go with the diamond instead. And then the question is, where do we put these? Maybe we put some down here or over there. So I'm going to put this onto my card first. So that will go on here. I don't need to stamp on here because I have my sentiment there in the middle already, so I don't need to worry about that. The other cards where you have stamped directly onto the white or onto the Balmy Blue, you would want to do that before you stuck anything on, simply because if you made a boo-boo, then you could turn it over, or if necessary, die cut another piece of the white, and you haven't ruined the whole card. Alternatively, of course, you could just use one of the stars and hide the boo-boo. Now this is kind of a bit of nice white space there, so maybe I'll put a star there. Let's see, what size star do I want to put on? These are all slightly different shapes and different number of points on as well. I don't know if you've noticed that. Actually, I like that there. So that one's going to go there, and I'm going to put that on with dimensionals. Oops, the backing's come off it already. Put that bit on. And a bit. So I'm going to put that, I think I had it here. That's going to go there. Try and get it straight. So I've got a nice pointy star, and then I might put one down here. I don't know, do I want to put the same thing? Keep to that, or do I want to use a different one? And then, or maybe I'll use the other silver. It's like being at school, isn't it? You get ticks and gold stars or silver stars, depending on how good you've been. Those were the days. I don't even know if they do that nowadays. I'm showing my age now. I like that there. So that's going to get glued on. And you could end up with, I don't know, a different card every single time, depending on what you want to do with your stars. Go there, like that. And then maybe I don't want that there. I like the two, but I'm not sure that I want to have just two. That's the problem. And I don't know, what did I do with that really tiny ones? Oh, see, look, I've lost one already. Okay. Typical for me. I know there was still one in the bag. Where is the bag? It's such a tiny one, it's kind of crazy. There we go. This is one, these tiny ones, this is one where you definitely want to put the glue onto here and then take the star to it, because there is no way that I will be able to get glue onto the back of that tiny little thing. So I'm just, ooh, got them appearing out of nowhere now. And I think I'm just going to put it down here. This tiny little thing, and you can always just take some of it off with your fingernails. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, because it's especially the putty end, which is really handy for these sorts of things. You just pick it up and plonk it down on top like that. Don't want to push it down too much because I don't really want the glue to squelch out. If I could find that other one, I'd put that on as well. You know what? I do have a bag of spare stars. So what was I talking about earlier? Oh yes, so the joining offer. So we have the Starter Kit Plus, where you get to choose more than you normally would. So that's a good deal. And what's more, joining this month, you can actually take part in the pre-order that is now currently happening. If you saw the not the Card A Cuppa event, I'm nuts here, the World Card Making Day event, then you will have seen and heard about the filigree floret pre-order, which starts for demonstrators this month. And if you join this month, you can either include it in your kit or you can purchase it early. And then for 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5. Okay, I'm not going to do any more. Or if you just want to purchase it, then it will be available to everybody else come 1st of November. So I think, well, that's the actual card. Oops, now I've got these little ones coming out of my ears. And then I just need to do the piece of white for the inside, which I put to one side. Here it is. And again, I think I might sort of just put some Wink of Stella on the corner here and then put a star on it. That's just one way of decorating it. So let's see now. That will be enough. I don't need to go too mad. So it's actually probably gone over quite a lot of the card, and you can see the actual sparkly bits. In fact, you know, I might just turn it around that way, and then I will put the star up here. I can put that big one up, I think, on there. I don't need too much glue on it, it's just going on the inside. And we're going to put that on there at the top. And then there's plenty of room to put a sentiment, or you can stamp another sentiment, or you can then just write. And then that can go on the inside. I did get it the right way around, which is good. So I haven't really used any more supplies than what would have gone to Card A Cuppa. The only thing is using the stitch shapes to do that sentiment, but everything else, people would have been able to have done that at Card A Cuppa. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Couple of other things to let you know about. You may or may not know that I'm part of the Craft Along With Us design team, and we do send out with our weekly newsletters some projects, instructions and things, so which you can print. And our 12 weeks of Christmas has just started, so if you haven't already got your name on my newsletter list and you would like to receive the 12 weeks of Christmas, then please do add your name. I put a post on earlier today on Facebook. There is a QR code and there's also a link, and this video will also be going up on YouTube, and I'll put all the links in there too. And I'd love to be able to send you some more inspiration that you can then use in your card making and things. And that's it for me today, so I'll show you all the cards together. So we have, let's see, we have two landscape and two portrait, and they all started off with the same kit. So let's see if I can actually get them all on so you can see them completely. You might not be able to, but hey, do my best. There you go. So thank you for watching. Next week it's back to stamping and creating. Again, I'll be back at 2:30 rather in the afternoon rather than the evening. But if you can't watch live, then of course I will be able to put it up on YouTube as well, and you can also catch it on Facebook because the video will be there once the event has finished. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.